Hello there YouTube, I'm Wheelchair21 and on today's rolling review, we are looking at Bandai Super Mini-Pla Live Robo from Liveman. We are looking at one of the best, if not one of the greatest, Super Sentai series and its specific titular mecha. And as we can see, the exterior box that contains our three pieces is a black and white color design motif. We have Sky Machine 1, we have Lan Machine 2, we have Aqua Machine, or you can call it Jet Falcon, Lan Lion, Aqua Dolphin. You got your box art on the side here. You got your side art, which is pretty much the style of box art you'll see for the individual pieces. You have your Livemen and your Live Robo. You have another logo for the Livemen. And then you have the top of your box right here, like legitimately right here. And then inside you have your three individual pieces, which I've already opened up and assembled our parts. Now, as stated moments ago, the interior of our box is just a more full flush, full color box art of the exterior case for all three pieces. As you can see, there's so much vibrant, bright shades of red, blue, and yellow throughout our mecha box, and it promotes the P Bandai exclusive live boxer, which makes Super Live Robo. Now, starting with our review portion of the actual mechas, let's go from foot to head or top to bottom. So that means we're going to be looking at our Aqua Dolphin or Aqua Machine right here. It is a double dolphin submarine-like missile pod vehicle ship that is piloted by, well, obviously, Blue Dolphin. And honestly, it is one of the few mechas in the line, or should I say the only mecha in this series to have the least amount of pre-detailed like paint apps or requirement of stickers. I think between this one and Yellow Lion, they practically have, or I should say Lan Lion, they only have minimal amount of stickers. With the actual dolphin ship, we have the Liveman logo on both sides, which is a sticker. And then we have these red little stripes here, over here, over here, over here, that are just stickers. The rest is all pre-established plastics, and that's about it. No other details, no other requirements are necessarily needed just for assembly and display purposes. However, if you are a master builder, you're probably going to want to add additional paint details, and that's about it. Now, since this is your feet, it's pretty simple. It has some wheels on the bottom here to help it roll. And it rolls somewhat smooth. Not too smooth because it is kind of still touching the surface pretty flush. However, when you want to turn it into your feet, you just dislodge the half. You pull down this butt piece here, or this bottom piece. Fold in your tail fin. And then pull out your head to become a foot. And push in your fin up on the top and push down your other dorsal fin here, and pretty much that's how you make a foot, and then you just mimic it yet again for the opposite piece. So as you can see, your legs are pretty simple and easy to make. Our next piece is the Lan Lion, which honestly has wide points of articulation due to the fact it is the upper torso. It is a lion. It is a quadrupedic animal or creature, so it has to have wide range of articulation. You have articulation in both, or I should say all four of its paws. You have some articulation in the front legs because they're supposed to fold up. You also have the back legs, which also double as the wrist joints to your overall mecha fists. These are your elbows and your forearms to your overall mecha. Your shoulders are right here in the back end of the butt part of the lion. And overall details are some minor stickers here on the sides, under here, right here on the right and left side. And then you got some pre-painted red and pre-painted for the eyes, nose, and mane. Honestly, that's a really cool feature for this mecha, as well as there is just a bit of stickers on your actual double cannons. So for this one to transform, it's still, yet again, a very simple formation, because all you gotta do is pull apart your ass end here, pull out the articulated subtail, which doesn't really equate to anything in the mecha form. It's part of a parts form where you don't need to have it and it's completely omitted. You then begin to fold up your paws in the front here to lock into place in the back right here like this to get your full torso assembled. Then the back paws here will open up to reveal a hole for your fist to come through. You fold in the other leg, do it again, but this one is a little tight on mine. That's one issue I do have, is that the area is a little too tight and a little too snug, so you might want to file it down just a bit to make it a little bit smoother and get a better accurate movement and motion. And then you just fold in the overall actual area. And it's a pretty cool thing that it does, and I think I like it the most about this, is that it actually folds inwards on itself, and as you can see, there's several points and holes to plug it into your slots to fill out your breastplate, your upper torso, your pectoral area, and then become your overall arms. I think that's really unique and nice. As well as there's places to plug in the actual cannons, either to the back of the shoulders, or when we're done with the actual Falcon, it'll actually plug in to that. Now, as one could see earlier, the actual Falcon is mounted to this nice little stand that comes in your actual Mini-Pla set. Now, the cool thing about it is it features the ability to put additional fists onto the stand to keep it in place when you're not using them so they don't get lost. That's actually a nice cool feature, and it's the first Super Mini-Pla for Sentai Mecha to include additional accessory like hands to hold your weapons and do different poses. Daijujin did not require or come with those, so this is a nice addition and upgrade since one of our previous releases, as well as this little piece up here, this little square piece is to actually hold your lion, because in the show the lion was a very, I would say, animated marionette-like puppet used on the screen when fighting Volt, and it would be very aerodynamic by leaping and jumping and doing all these crazy attacks. So they gave you a nice little adapter to use it for that if you choose to do so. But with the Falcon, it's more of a requirement due to the fact that the actual breastplate of the Falcon Jet Bird mecha is your shield. It has a little port here, though, to attach to the peg here, but we don't need that right now. The front area is pretty bitchin' because we do have stickers here, right here, right here, here, all over the wings, even the tails, and this black piece right here, which is like your crotch guard, your crotch gown, you know, your thigh gown that some mechas do have. Think of it as like the skirts to a Gundam, per se. So overall, the jet is really nice, and it does have the ability to fold in its wings, like if it's, you know, landing or becoming the mecha, so on and so forth. And one cool thing is the fact that when you take off the little vents or laser or barrels, like gun barrels in the front, you do get the joint for where your legs are going to plug into, as well as you get its actual like Falcon like feet, as well as landing gear, which is kind of unique. Not many mechas have like that hidden feature about them, but I do think it is cool and great altogether. So to transform, you will need to pull off these areas or these pieces right here, which honestly don't equate to anything in the final part of the transformation. You then fold in your wings, you fold in the actual tail fins, you pull out your head, like literally fold it back as if it's just going back over like a hood. You then practically pull down and rotate all the way around your legs. It doesn't really matter how you want to do it or how you choose to do it, but you need to pull them out, pull these pieces off, plug them in to create your skirt, plug them in place as so, remove the actual breastplate of your Falcon or the bottom area of the jet. And once you pull it off, begin your proper assembly, which is going to be really kind of simple. All you gotta do is just start plugging in stuff into the right slots and you're good. Now, once popping the parts all into place, you have your live Robo. And honestly, it's one hell of a mecha, whether it be the actual suit, whether it be the actual animation design, whether it be the original toy, or this Mini-Pla at hand. Now, I will state, though, that there are a few obvious flaws, and there are pros and cons to this model kit and figure. First off, the actual elbows only go to about a 45 to a 55 degree, like, it doesn't do a full 90. It just doesn't get it, so you don't have a full extent of your elbow. Your shoulders are a little wonky. They remind me a lot of the Kureno shoulder, of how they fold out, and it looks rather ugly. Then you actually have your knee joints, which are fairly tight. Like, I mean, these are really tight joints, and you got to play around with them just to get them loose enough to have. There's no actual ankle joint. It's just one toe joint, so you don't really get that much of a movement and glide. You don't really, have much sway or pose, but you really don't need that since it is a Sentai Mecha Robo. I do realize, though, that the thighs do seem to come apart on themselves when you rotate either the actual thigh joint or you bend the knee. I think this is going to be the part that breaks on a lot of people. I am very cautious and worried about if this will actually stay firmly together or break apart over time. You also have, like, hip, swivel, articulation in the skirt, which is good since it is on a ball joint. You also have your waist articulation, which is great due to the fact of how the joint actually works with the, I would say, how it works with the Jet Falcon to your actual line, about how they connect into each other, so on and so forth. And, yeah, the Falcon and the Lan Lion, perfect combination of how they slide in together. As you can see, there isn't much of, like, a gap or space between the two, and they really slide and interlock real well. I do like that aspect. And then you have a really nice painted face, which I didn't really touch upon earlier in the review, which that's bad on me. But overall, I do like the fact that it does have a wide range of articulation. Whether it is a little too tight or sturdy, is up to the buyer. I do like the fact that the actual cockpit area of your Falcon can hold the actual guns like it will in the show for, stability reasons, and where it stores when it's not being used as their sidearm. You have your sword, you have your shield, and the optional hands look a lot better being in use than the smaller ones, because the smaller ones are more like when the actual actor's hands are visible, rather than the static fist piece that is attached to the overall arm and slot that we see throughout most of the action scenes in the show. We only see hands usually when it has to actually catch or grab or pull out a sword, in the case of, like, say, Daijujin. And so one of the things I also want to add is the fact that the plastic quality feels a lot stronger than Daijujin and Dragon Caesar, which is kind of astonishing, seeing that you wouldn't expect that much of a difference. On top of that, I noticed that there's no real stress marks or areas where stress marks can occur, like with Daijujin and Dragon Caesar. I'm thinking that as you go further into Sentai mechas, there's the possibility of that their design, construction, and engineering will actually damage and break the mold, whereas the older you go, the easier and more streamlined and accessible the mold will be towards the smaller scale, almost like 1/44 scale-esque, like model kits from Bandai. And that's another funny thing about it, is that when you look back, this is one of the last great Sentais of the original, like, 15 seasons, because Liveman is regarded as one of the greatest Sentais of all time, next to, like, Jetman and Bioman, and it came at that pinnacle time in the mid to late 80s, where the Showa Era was obviously concluding and moving on to the Heisei Era. So honestly, I gotta say, I like Liveman. I'm glad that I finally got to see the entire thing subbed, because when I first saw it, it was on DT Kingdom and mostly Raw, and then I got to see it through Guys in Spandex, so that's one of the real reasons why I went out and got this thing. Other reasons for fans to probably go out and get this is to help support the Super Sentai edition in the Super Mini-Pla line. But other than that, I do recommend people to check out Liveman. It's a great show. It's cool. It's awesome. It's unique. It's different. It's amazing. It's great. Yada, 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 so on and so forth. And I think people will really like this streamlined super robot mecha, because it has a lot of Toei's quirks and themes that you see in their 70s and 80s super robot animes. So it really mixes the best of both worlds of anime and tokusatsu, and I think that's what people will mostly enjoy. This actual model kit is still up for sale at a lot of hobby shops online, whether it be AmiAmi, HobbyLink Japan, so on and so forth, so get them while you still can. And who knows, maybe Bluefin might actually distribute this, but I doubt it. But you never know with them, so who knows, so on and so forth. I'm Wheelster21, and if you like this review, leave a comment, leave a like, and subscribe if you already haven't, and follow me on social media, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram.